do. Ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum. Hi, Zippy girl. Hey, kia ora. Helen Brahms here, coming live from Sun City in Arizona. Hope you've all had a super fantastic, sparkling, fun Friday. Has yours been as exhausting as mine has? It has been a crazy, 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 crazy day, I have to tell you. Oh my gosh. I am so mentally exhausted right now. I've got no idea what's going to come out of my mouth tonight. But how was your fun Friday? What fun are you planning for today and for the weekend? I am planning on, I actually feel like I want to go take a nap like right now, but I'm not going to. I'll probably fall asleep in front of the TV later. After this, it's going to get some dinner ready and then just sit back and relax for the evening. But I have a whole bunch of genealogy stuff to do this weekend. And with the exception of doing our walks and taking Zeffy to the dog park a couple of times, I'm going to be in here with my nose stuck in genealogy, losing all track of time, just having a dog to come along and nudge me every now and again. She's gotten to know when 5 p.m. is very well. I can't teach her that treats are at 8 o'clock, but she knows when 5 p.m. is. Keep telling her that treats are at 8 o'clock and to come back at 8 o'clock. Yep, nope. She will whine up until 8 o'clock till it's time. She'll go off into the bedroom in a huff, come back out a few minutes later, get upset with you and everything else. But 5 p.m. hits, and that's when I finish work on the help chat, and she's over here putting her foot up on the, putting her paw up on the seat here next to me as to say, come on, walk time. We're going to go for a walk. Come on, time to go, time to go. And she is like that the entire, and I'm like, just let me finish this off. As soon as I finish this, we'll get off the computer and we'll go do that. I said, go get me my shoes. And she's goes running over where my shoes are. Then she'll come back again. So she definitely knows when 5 p.m. is. But today has been a very busy day. I got a lot of stuff done this morning for clients. I got the chat was crazy. It was very mentally draining today. There was a lot of stuff that was coming in that you really had to stop and think about before you answered anything, and you had to watch the way that you were answering it so it didn't feel offensive to anybody. It was just one of those days where everything is like normal. So some of the questions coming through are a little like, what? And then you'd have to stop and think, what are they actually asking? And yes, you could ask, send back a question for clarification, and which would get them upset. Some people upset. And so it was just a very mentally draining day. It felt very stressful today. I don't usually get that stressed feeling when I'm on the help chat, but I kind of got it a little bit today. I was ready to go for a walk at that point. I wanted to go take a nap. But I got through the day. I've got an awesome boss, and she was very encouraged. I don't think she realized how encouraging she was today. But it was still a good day, very mentally stimulating, but at the same time very draining. And even she admitted that it was a draining day today. It was on the psyche. And then Zeffy and I were out for our walk, and we're walking around, and those big sign things that people have with the big tall man that, like about 15 feet tall, it's got the air going up and the things bending forwards and backwards and all over the place. Well, somebody had a Santa one of those things out front of their house tonight as we're going for a walk. And I thought, this will be cool to see what Zeffy does with it. So I pull my phone out, go to the camera, put it on video, hit record, and start walking down the street. We get past, and she does her little reactions to it. We get past the thing. I turn the video off. I put it back in my pouch. I get back and thought, I'll upload my video. There's 2 seconds of recording. I'm like, wait, what? What did I miss? What did I not do? Because it was recording. So somewhere along the way, I obviously hit some button somewhere. So I'm now upset because it was a really cool video of her. You could see the moment that she spots it, her ears go up and she's kind of approaching this. And then she stops and looks at it sideways, and she darts over one way and stops and looks at it again. And then it kind of folds over towards her, so she darts off in a different direction. It was a really cool video. And then I get back and it's 2 seconds recorded, because I'm looking at the time to see how long the video is, and it said 2 seconds. I'm like, it can't be 2 seconds. It was more than 2 seconds. So somewhere in my mentally draining capacity, mentally drained brain today. I obviously hit something somewhere where I only ended up recording 2 seconds of her sniffing the road. That was my recording of her reaction to the sander. That was, one of those 15 feet tall things that's busy folding and flopping all over the place and getting pushed back up again. So yes. But what can you do? So I was like, maybe I could go back, and then I thought, no, the daylight's not going to be good. So maybe I'll try her again. I'll try it again tomorrow night. But tonight was the first time she had seen one of those, so I wanted to get her reaction as we walk past. So I'm going to try and get out while it's daylight tomorrow and see if I can get when they've got it on, and see if I can capture it on video. And this time I'm going to make sure all my buttons are pushed that should be pushed. Obviously I missed a button somewhere, so I'm just like, it's just one of those moments that were there and now it's gone. But anyway, so what fun things are you planning for the weekend? I'm going to be doing genealogy all weekend. It's so much fun, yay! And I get to do a recording for a client that I can then send her, explaining to her what we've discovered, uncovered, what we've confirmed, what we're still waiting to confirm. We may only have one resource for this, so it's kind of confirmed, but we want some other resources to back that piece of information up. I like to have at least 3 resources before I call it confirmed. And some of the resources I have in here are just a one-time resource. Excuse me. So it's kind of confirmed, but we'd like more information on there. Excuse me, got burps. So you're going to be recording that this weekend. Got some research to do for another client. I get to start a new client this weekend, and I'm sending out a contract this weekend. So it's going to be a very busy weekend on the genealogy side of things, and I can't wait. Oh my gosh! And I'm trying to figure out what to have to do. I got my charcuterie board stuff there, but it's sort of like I really don't feel like loading up my charcuterie board. I'm just sort of like, no. The brain's like, we're done. So I don't know what I'll grab. Maybe grab some grapes. There's a good question for you. Is it wrong that I had apple pie with mascarpone cheese and red kiwi fruit last night for dinner? That was my dinner. By the time I finished that, I was having dessert first. It was my birthday. I could do what I like. I did the dessert first, and then when it came to having the mains, I was like, yeah, no, that ain't going to happen. And then having apple pie with mascarpone cheese and banana this morning for breakfast. Is that okay? But then I thought I got my sugar load done at the middle of the day, which is probably why I'm so mentally drained now, because I've stayed away from the sugar this afternoon. And I'll be staying away from all the carbs tonight, because that's just the way I roll. Be more protein tonight. Yes, more protein. Although there'll be some vegetables in there and some, because it's some really nice broccoli saw in there, so it's going to go down well. I like the broccoli saw, and I've got the cherry tomatoes, and so there's going to be a few more carbs in there, but it's all naturally occurring carbs, not with refined sugar like the apple pie was. I will have to tell you this. I got to give a shout out to Sprouts here in Surprise. Their fresh baked double pastry apple pie was awesome. It was just their store brand pie, fresh, and it was fresh because when I got it, it was still warm on the bottom. The bottom of the box was still warm, but that was really good. It heated up really well in the air fryer, and it was perfect on the seasoning. It wasn't too much, it wasn't too little. Everything seemed to be balanced inside, and it was really good, and it went very, very well with the mascarpone cheese. So I have to give a shout out to Sprouts for that one, because that was a really good apple pie. Maybe I'll get another one for Christmas Day. I might do that. Actually, that's a really good idea. I'd prefer to have fruit cake. I really miss fruit cake. I have a cousin who sent me a fruit cake one time. It was awesome. Oh my gosh, with the marzipan and almond icing on it. It was amazing. I had the almond paste icing, and then what's that top layer called? It's a double layered icing. You roll out like the almond one and put that on, and then there's another one that goes, and that's kind of a cream color. There's another one that goes on that's like snow white in color. But that's how we decorate our fruit cakes back in New Zealand, and they get that made a few weeks before Christmas. Some people will like poke holes in it with like toothpicks, and then pour like brandy, or mainly brandy. We'll pour brandy over top of the cake so it soaks up, and they do that for several months before Christmas. Like they'll bake their Christmas cake in like the middle of the year, like around June, July, August, and then they sit it off in a side room there, top completely open, and they'll poke holes in it, and they'll just pour like brandy into it. And I'm sort of like, yeah, I don't drink, so I wouldn't be eating that one. We did one year. I did try baking a fruit pie one year. So here's a holiday memory, because we're talking about what's your favorite holiday memories. Tell your story question of the day. So I made a fruit cake one year, and it had brandy in it, so I was burning off all the alcohol in that, and we were getting high off the fumes. I don't drink, but I was getting very lightheaded. Our kitchen was a closed-in kitchen. It was a galley kitchen with, well, not even really a galley kitchen. It had a wall on this side with nothing on it, and at the end of the kitchen was where the oven was, the stove, and all of that. And then on this side there was the counters and the sink. And all the cabinetry. And then at the end of that was where the dining room was, and it overlooked. It was in this little tiny apartment. It's actually a really good apartment. The problem was it was on top of a hill in Wellington. It overlooked the airport. So there was one major problem, was that when the winds came in from the south, we call them southerlies in New Zealand, in Wellington, they are very cold and can be very strong. So we had a balcony, and we very rarely got to use it because it was so windy out there. And we could actually look from our apartment down on the runway of Wellington Airport. So we could watch all the planes taking on and off. And the scariest time in that apartment was when we had an earthquake one night. It shook and the building swayed. And we were only 4 stories. And we were on the top floor. And that thing swayed. It was sort of like, and 2 months later, we moved into another place. But after the earthquake was pretty cool, because we were watching them doing all the checks on the runway down below with, they had their little carts out with the yellow lights on, and we could see them from up in our apartment, and we're looking down on the whole thing and watching them out there checking the runways. They did that for like over an hour before they let a plane take off from in there. It was quite interesting to watch them do that. But yeah, we're on the flight path, and it was okay. I don't mind being on flight paths. I really don't. Especially if it's fighter jets. Commercial jets, I can take them or leave them, but if it's fighter jets, I will quite happily buy a place underneath the flight. Like I'm sitting here in a place rented here, and we are on the flight path from Luke Air Force Base. Those jets go up every morning. First one usually goes out around 7:15, 7:30. Sometimes as late as 7:45. And there'll be one that will go out, and then anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour later, that's when they start going out in twos, and you'll get one come up, and then the other one, and then his wingman comes up behind him, and they come straight for the resort, and then they turn off and go to the northwest and go and do their flying. And sometimes they do night flying. Somebody's got something on very loud with a very heavy bass on it. It's one thing with a resort is that the walls are very thin. And I have to be careful, because right here next to me, it's a good 10 feet away, is the next door neighbor's place, and you can hear his phone call, and he'll be sitting in his living room, which is between, I've got, about 8 to 10 feet from the edge of my RV to the side of his carport, and on the wall on the other side of his carport is his living room area. But he quite often leaves the door open that comes out of the house, so the dog can come down into the carport area and then walk around this little fenced area into the backyard. But I hear his phone conversations all day long. If I put my window open, I can really hear them. It's like he's standing underneath my window. So it's amazing how much sound travels. So I try to keep my TV down low. That's why I want to figure out how I can like put on headphones or something so I can have it at the volumes I want it to get the stuff. Rather than, although quite right now it's not too bad. It's not too bad. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to like Bluetooth that thing. But if it means having to take the TV out to access the Bluetooth, yeah, that's a long job. I'm not doing that again. It took my youngest and I think 3 hours. I think it was 3 hours. The two of us trying to figure things out, trying to find the right screwdrivers and then figuring out how to take the frame off the front of the TV. Then the TV was mounted to a hardboard, so we got the frame off. Then we realized that we still couldn't access the back of the TV because it was up hard against a piece of hardwood. So then we had to figure out how to get the backing out, and we finally got the backing out, lifted the TV out. We had to take the backing off the TV, access the HDMI things, plugs, because I wanted to put cables in so I could run them through the holes into the cabinets on either side, so I could hook up a DVD player on one side, put my Amazon Fire Stick on the other side, and then it was the matter of putting it all back together again and making sure all the screws were tight, and the angles were just really, really weird. And it's right in the middle, over top of my engine hump, and it took us 3 hours to get that thing out and put it back again. Yeah. we ain't taking that thing out of there anytime soon. But I've totally forgotten where I'm at. I'm done. I'm tired. I need sleep. I need food and I need sleep. Nutrition. Yes, gotta go get some protein in the system. I have some pate. Made with liver. Yum. Duck liver. This one's with duck. Oh, that's right. We're talking about Christmas cakes. Yes. So we got high off the fumes when we're cooking the Christmas cake, because you put the fruit into you got this mixture that you're making, it's in the thing, and then you put, I don't know, there's all this liquid stuff that went in, then you had to put the brandy in there to cook it and reduce it all down before you put all the dry ingredients, and then it all got mixed with the dry ingredients and the fruit. Oh no, the fruit got put into there first, then all of that got mixed with the dry ingredients and everything. The cake turned out really good. It had a nice flavor to it. Trying to figure out how to roll out the icing, that was a whole nother ball game, and that stuff's sticky. And I said, I just use some icing sugar. I said, but wouldn't that make, confectioner's sugar? I said, wouldn't that make it more sticky? And my hat is off to anybody that can do the fondant, can do the almond paste icing and the fondant on top. My hat is off to you guys being able to roll that out smoothly, decorate a cake with it. I've done it once. I'm never doing it again. But the cake turned out well. We got high off the fumes, so had a slight hangover the next morning. But that was just off the fumes. We didn't drink any of it because, of course, cooking it burns off all the alcohol. But yeah, some people will have their cake for a few months and just pour the brandy, go on like once a week or once a month or whatever, and pour some brandy over it. And it gets into the cake and everything else. I mistakenly had a piece one time. Whew, that was strong. That was a strong cake, that one. But yes, I love my fruit cakes. So I don't know if they have any, but I definitely going to get another one of those apple pies. Those were really, really good. So anyway, I've rabbited on long enough, and you can tell that I'm tired because I'm rabbiting. And Brad would turn around and say, Helen? I go, yes. He says, go to bed. And I go, no. Or go, why? He says, you're waffling. So I'm waffling because I'm tired. I'm out of here. Have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow morning for Shake It Up Saturday. Hey, Gonetta.